Megan, and in today's video, I'll be showing you how to make these earrings inspired by Claudia from the Babysitters Club. The Babysitters Club started out as a series of books written between 1986 and 2000. The series inspired quite a few spin-off books, a movie, a TV show, and most recently a Netflix series. If you're familiar with the series, I'm sure it comes as no surprise that my favorite character was always Claudia. One of my favorite parts of the books was always the descriptions of Claudia's outfits, which often featured accessories that she made herself, most notably her collection of earrings. And after watching the Netflix series, I thought it would be fun to recreate some of them. My favorite pair of earrings that Claudia wears in Season 1 are these abstract face earrings. I made mine a little bit different, but it's the same idea. For this project, I used some gold polymer clay, parchment paper, 2 eye pins, 2 jump rings, some translucent liquid Sculpey, UV resin, and some earring backs. First, I drew out the shape that I wanted the earrings to be. I just googled face continuous line drawing and found one that I liked. I placed my drawing under a piece of parchment paper and taped everything down. If you don't feel like drawing it, you can just print something out. Then, I took some clay and rolled it out into a long, thin snake. Once it was the right thickness, I used the template that I drew as a guide and essentially traced it with the clay. I used a little bit of translucent liquid Sculpey on the parchment paper to help the clay hold its shape. This stuff is essentially like glue but for clay. I made my earrings a little bit smaller, because if you've ever seen me make earrings on my channel, you might have noticed that my ears are a little bit deformed. I don't really know why, that's just how they are, but I don't really have much of an earlobe, so wearing anything too heavy is kind of painful. I also can't stand the hooks that they use for dangly earrings. Apparently I'm just super picky about earrings, so we're making our own. But I made 2 small clay circles so I could turn these into studs. I stuck an eye pin on the bottom of each clay circle, so the face part of the earrings would have something to hang from. I removed the tape and my paper template, and baked the clay according to the package instructions. After I baked them, I realized that the liquid clay left this sort of film, which I didn't really want, so I used an X-Acto knife to carefully cut that off. I covered all my clay pieces with some UV resin to seal them. This part's optional. You can use any sort of sealant that you like, or just leave it as is. I used some more resin to attach the earring backs to the clay circles. Then I used a jump ring to attach the clay faces to the rest of the earring. And after all that, here's how my finished earrings turned out. They're obviously not perfect, but I still really like them. Another pair of earrings that Claudia wears a lot throughout Season 1 are these watermelon earrings. These are actually really easy to find, but like I said, I'm super picky about earrings, and being the craft supply hoarder that I am, I already had everything that I needed to make them. For these, I used some stiff felt, a needle and thread, seed beads, super glue, some 20 gauge wire, 2 jump rings, and some earring backs. Start by drawing a circle on your felt and cutting it out. Fold the circle down the middle and cut it in half. Now we want to sew the seed beads onto the felt. There are a few different ways that you could do this, but I basically did a back stitch, adding on a bead each time that I brought my needle up to the front of the fabric. So you just bring the needle up, add on your bead, then push the needle to the back. I started with a row of green beads to act as the outside of the watermelon. Then I added a row of white beads for the inside of the rind, and filled up the remaining space with pink beads, with a few black beads for the seeds. Like I said before, I made these way smaller than the originals, which was a good thing because they were kind of time consuming. I spent about 30 minutes on each one. It was kind of relaxing though, I don't know why. I used 3mm seed beads because that's what I had, but you can use smaller or larger ones for more or less detail. For the earring posts, I cut 2 small circles from green felt and sewed on some beads the same way that we did before. Then, I took a small piece of wire and used my round nose pliers to create a loop at one end. I cut the wire a little bit shorter, then made another loop on the opposite end, so I had a piece that looked like this. I used my needle and thread to sew this piece of wire to the back of the felt, looping the thread around the wire a couple times. Go ahead and repeat this for the other 3 pieces. Then use some super glue to attach your earring posts. Cut another small felt circle, and cut it like this. Use more super glue to cover up the earring back, and add on this piece of felt. Cut another felt circle, cut it in half, and attach it with some super glue to cover up the stitching. And after that dries, you can use a jump ring to attach both parts of the earring together. And here's how my finished earrings turned out. I actually really like this technique using the seed beads to create different shapes. And you can make these into literally any shape that you want. The last pair of earrings that I decided to make were these gold cloud earrings that Claudia wears in Season 2, Episode 7. For these earrings, I used some Shrinky Dinks, scissors, a hole punch, a gold paint pen, 20 gauge wire, some UV resin, and 2 teardrop-shaped beads. I made the cloud part of the earring by sketching out a cloud shape on paper, then tracing it on the Shrinky Dink paper with a gold Posca pen. There are lots of different art supplies that you can use on Shrinky Dinks. My favorites are Posca pens, Sharpies or alcohol-based markers, and colored pencils. I made 2 of these cloud shapes, let them dry, then cut them out. I punched a hole at the top and bottom of each cloud, then baked them according to the package instructions. And after they'd been shrunk, I covered the rough side that I had colored on with some UV resin to seal it. If you don't have resin, you can use Mod Podge or any other sealer that you have. Next, I took a piece of wire and bent one end into a loop. I slid on the teardrop-shaped bead, then bent the wire into an L shape at the bottom. Cut off the excess wire, and you should be left with something like this. I made the top of these earrings with polymer clay, the same way that I did for the first pair. But if you don't want to do that, you can just use like the earring hooks. And then I used jump rings to put each earring together. And here's how the finished earrings turned out. Honestly, I think these would have looked better in a different color, like maybe blue, because the gold that I used kind of blends into my hair a little bit more than I thought that it would. But Shrinky Dinks are another great material for making DIY earrings. So those were all the earrings that I made. I'm actually pretty excited that I found a way to make dangly earrings that doesn't make it feel like my ear is going to be like ripped in half. So, 10 out of 10. Let me know in the comments, who's your favorite character from the Babysitters Club? Also, what do you guys think of the new background? I kind of like it. I got these postcards from Amazon and they're like the Pantone colors and I thought it was cute. I don't know. I also got a ring light which you can probably see reflecting in my glasses. I need to find a way to have that not happen. So if you have any tips, let me know. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My merch, my website, and all of my social media will be linked down below. I love you guys so much and I will see you guys later. Bye!